All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto the Father, our Father, Abanawa, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Hakwadash, Yahweh being the name of the Father, who people ignorantly call Jehovah, Yahweh Shai being the name of the Son, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, Racha, Hakwadash, which is the Holy Spirit, in the Lashon HaKodash, the Holy Tongue, our original language. All right. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the real children of Israel, according to the scriptures. All right. This is not a religion. It is a nationality. The Bible is our history book and our prophecy book. Okay. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, who are the true leaders of all Israel, all right, who taught me this 100% truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And I want to say shalom to the elect, all right, because that's who the Most High is dealing with in these last days, scattered abroad across the four corners of the world, all right. So we're going to get straight into it. Sha'ak Tazapanya, Sons of Yasha Alakim, out here in Colorado Springs. This topic is called Friday Night Sundown to Saturday night sundown is not the Sabbath or the Shabbat, okay? Because there seems to be a misconception, not only with Christians, but with Israelites as well, all right, regarding the true Sabbath or day of rest according to the scripture. And this is going to be a quick lesson, quick cut. You see what I'm saying? Going through a couple of precepts, gonna go into the Hebrew, going to go into the etymology of some words, and then we're going to close it out. And Lord willing, this will be edifying unto the elect. Okay? So let's see if I could share screen. Yeah, we'll go here, share. All right, all right. So now we're going to start in the book of Genesis, chapter 1. All right, starting at verse 14. Because the scriptures say, with all thy getting, get understanding. Well, for wisdom is the principal thing. With all thy getting, get understanding. Okay. So I say that to say, because, you know, the whole day of Friday, Muslims, that's their so-called holy day, right? Saturday is Amalek, or the 1948 is, those that claim to be us in our land. All right. That's their Sabbath or holy day, as well as Seventh-day Adventists. And myself, before I came into the truth, grew up, all right, in the Babylonian denomination of Seventh-day Adventists. All right. So I grew up thinking that Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown was the Sabbath. And then Sunday is pretty much the rest of Christendom uh, holy day, the Lord's day, so to speak, so called, right? So, like I said, we're going to get into it because all of those is not biblically sound. So, we're going to go into the scriptures and seek understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 14. And it reads, and the Most High, the word God here is Elohim. Matter of fact, let's go into it so you can see it. All right, which, and God just means power or powers, because the word God here is Elohim, which is plural of power. Okay. I don't know why this is taking so long. Bear with me. Let's try that again. There we go. Right. So see, Elohim. All right. So the Most High said, let there be lights in the firmament. The firmament is that ozone layer. All right. Where the lights are. The lights as what? sun, the moon, and the stars, of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So the lights in the firmament of the heaven, all right, are supposed to be used for signs, seasons, days, and years. That's how the Most High set it up. Okay, so we're gonna go into this word. Let's see, seasons, because one of the big buzzword right here is, yeah, the Most High said. This is what He said. All right. So nobody else. This is what's biblically sound. He said that. He said not no calendar from this day to this day. Every year. Of the 300, including leap years, and no, he didn't say that. He said, "Let the lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, seasons, and for days and for years." All right. So now we're gonna go into the word seasons. Okay. And the word is uh mawide, mawa'id, all right? Or it comes from uh yide, all right? You got the ma, the wa, the I, and the da, right? Mawa'id, right? And it goes on to say appointed place, appointed time, meeting, appointed time, sacred season, set feast, all right? Appointed season. So notice that the word appointed keeps on coming up, all right? So while we at it, let's look up just in the common dictionary, point, appointed definition, right? Of a time or place decided on beforehand, designated. You see? So the Most High set it up before heaven and earth was created. He set up that the lights was going to be for signs, seasons, days, and years. All right. So now let's go back. Appointed time, right? So keep that word appointed in your head. That's what the word mean for seasons. That has really nothing to do with weather. All right. A season means a actual matter of fact, let's get that word real quick, Salaki, because we have to break things down in order to get the full understanding. Each of the four divisions of the year, spring, summer, autumn, winter, marked by particular weather patterns and daylight hours resulting from the Earth's changing position with regard to the sun. They set a sequence of related television programs, add salt, make wood. Look, a fixed time in the year when a particular sport is played. Basketball season is over. A period of the year characterized by a particular climatic feature or marked by a particular activity, event, or festivity. See? So it's a period of time for a particular activity. All right. So now we're going to jump to the book of Psalms. Remember, appointed was the focal point. The book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 19. He appointed, see, there goes that word again, the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his going down. All right. So seasons is the same word as it is mawa'id in the book of Genesis, the first book of the Holy Scriptures. Okay. So he set the moon, right, appointed a particular time for a certain activity or festivity. What's the root word of festivity? Feast, right? All right. So he used the moon for that. The sun know his going down. All right. So, right, he made the moon, all right, also to fact, Salah, Salah. Yeah, he made the moon because I had some notes written down before I had this out. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. That's what it's basically saying. All right. So the moon is for the particular, see the word particular there, for the seasons. All right. Which is mawa'id, all right, which is an appointed time. All right. So that's what it is for the world of Israel. All right. So now we're going to go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter, was this 43? We're going to start at we're going to start at verse 6, go down to verse 8. So it reads, Salat, he made the moon also to serve in her season, they go to word season again, for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. Right, that's what I just read. All right. From the moon is the sign of feasts. You see that? Right? So when we go back again to Mawa'id, which where the word season, we get set feast. See? From the moon, A, B, C, like Apostle Tahar, right? It is very, if the Spirit, the Holy Spirit is working with you, it's very easy to understand. You know, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. All right, so I got this pulled up. Let's pull this over here real quick. No, that was season. It's a lot. Let's go here. Images. Looks a lot. Shalom, man. Shalom. All right, so if you can see right here, phases and full moon names. All right, it's actually a pretty good one because from left to right, it shows you. All right, so right here, right, what does it say? A light that decreaseth in her perfection. All right. So notice the new moon starts when you can't technically, with your eyesight, see that light spectrum of the moon. All right. Very dark. You see what I'm saying? To a small little crescent going all the way into the full moon when you're in about 2 weeks in. All right. And it decreaseth in her perfection. So when it's in a perfection is when it's a full light. All right. And it decreaseth in her perfection. So the full moon is not the new moon. All right. The new moon is when you can't see the moon or a small crescent. All right. So anybody else teaching otherwise what the new moon is going off. Okay. So continuing on from the moon again, see, so the moon, just like it said in Psalms, the moon, right? Let's go to it. He appointed, who's he? Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, creator of heaven and earth, Father of spirits. He appointed the moon for seasons. From the moon is the sign of feast. See, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Verse 8. The month is called after her name. Who's her? The moon. So how is the month called after her name? Literally, it's called after her name. Let's go to the etymology, online etymology dictionary. All right. And I type in the word month, and it goes on to say 1/12 part of a year, one of the 12 parts into which the calendar year is arbitrarily divided. Old English, Monau, from Proto-Germanic Menath, source also of Old Saxon Menath, Old Frisian Manath, Middle Dutch Manet, Dutch Mond, Old German, Old High German Manad, German Manat, Old Norse Maneor, Gothic Menops, month, which is related to Menon, moon. See, originally, this is the point right here too. Originally, the month was the interval originally. So in the beginning. So it's telling you even in the etymology is the study of the origin of words. Okay. Originally, all right. So who's the origin of all things? Yahweh, right? And we're reading it. We already got two precepts. He appointed the moon, all right, for seasons. From the moon came feasts, so on and so forth, right? Originally, the month was the interval between one new moon and the next, a sense attested from the late English. So, see, the month starts in the new moon because you can literally hear the word moon. It went from month to month, right? Moon, month. So the month starts in the new moon. So now you gotta know what the new moon is. And you can easily type the new moon in Google or whatever search engine you use. And the one that I was using was Google right here. Right. And you could see from left to right, it starts when it's very dark, very low light, right? And then it starts to uh uh wax and then it starts to wane, right? Decreaseth in her perfection. All right. Because but when it decreases, the cycle begins all over again. You see? So let's go back. Let's get a little bit more. Increasing wonderfully in her changing. See? So the increasing wonderfully in her changing and increases, and then it decreases in her perfection. All right. Being an instrument, jumping down back to verse 8, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. So that's how you know it's one of those lights in Genesis 1:14. The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving the light in the highest places of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. So now we're going to continue to move on. All right. So notice, all right, that the main point in verse 7 from the moon is the sign of feast. Feast. And then when we actually looked up that word season, we see set feast, right? So now let's go to let's go to matter of fact, yeah, we'll go to Leviticus first, and then we're gonna end on First Samuel. All right. So notice feast, right? Matter of fact, let's look up this word festival just to prove the point. Festival. 1580s, a festal day, appointed. You can't make this shit up, man. Appointed, see, there goes that word again. Day of festive celebration, short for festival day. Late 14th century from Old French festival adjective suitable for a feast. Solemn, magnificent, joyful, happy, and directly from medieval Latin festivalis, of a church holiday. Wow, right? And we know the church is ecclesia in the Greek, which means an assembly of Israelites. And holy day, holiday goes back to holy day. Holy Quadash set apart, because the Most High set apart, right? Seasons, appointed times, different days that's different than the rest of the days by seeing them or constructing them, should I say, from the lights in the firmament. From festum, festival, holiday, neuter of festus, of a feast. Wow. See feast. The English word returned to French 19th century in certain specialized senses. So festival, like I said before, comes from feast, but I'm just proving it to you in the origin of the word that we speak in this bastard language, English, right? Which goes back to Latin and Greek most of the time. All right. So now we're going to go to Leviticus 23, right? We're going to start at verse 1. So notice as you see here on the footnotes of the Blue Letter Bible, laws of religious festivals, which are feasts. All right. So just jumping back, just to show you again, Sirach chapter 43, verse 7. From the moon is the sign of feast. All right. So now we're about to see the feast in the Torah, the Torah, all right, the law, the teachings, all right, in the book of Leviticus. All right. So from the moon is the sign of feast. So the moon should be able to tell us these laws that were commanded by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai in order to have an appointed time. All right. So look, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, there go to Most High speaking again. All right. Didn't in Genesis 1:14 he said, and the Lord and God said, the Most High said, all right. Elohim powers said, all right, let there be lights in the firm, so on and so forth, roughly paraphrasing. Jumping down to verse 2. Speak unto the who? The children of Israel. So notice, especially if you come into the truth, all right, meaning that when it's speaking to the children of Israel, speaking to you, because we are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, Yashar Allah, all right, and say unto them concerning the feast, see, festivals, feast, the feast of Yahweh, all right, so these are our feasts, these are Yahweh's feasts, which he consecrated since the beginning, and that's a whole nother topic, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. All right. So if you even just go and proclaim is a compound word, pro meaning before, claim meaning to stamp or to prove. So you prove it and stamp it, all right, in your mind to be a set apart convocation. All right. Convocation, again, compound word con, going back to the Latin and Spanish with, all right, vocation with voice. All right. So we're supposed to be praising Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah on the Shabbat. All right. Even these are my feasts. So now let's see what the first feast is that he talks about in the laws of feasts. Verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of who? Of Yahweh in all your dwellings. Verse 4. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their what? In their seasons, in their mawa'id, their appointed times, their set feasts. You see? And how do we do that? From the moon. You see? All right. So now just to prove to the point, so now you might ask yourself, all right, well, if that's the case, then the moon is the new month. All right, the new month is when there's no moon or a sliver in the sky. All right, and we're supposed to be, looking at it in order to, figure out the seventh day, because if that's the case, because of your Sunday, which is really the first day, right? It could be a middle of the cycle or a third of the cycle or whatever it may be. It don't have to necessarily be. Let's just say January 1st, right? And it's a Sunday, so it's the first of the month, and it's a Sunday, right? Hypothetically speaking, but it isn't um a new moon in the sky. It just starts with a 62% light, right? Like you might check on your app. How can you then find the seventh day? All right, even though the calendar would say, right, on that seventh day or the eighth day, I would have to look at the actual calendar, because I don't even pay too much attention to the calendar now. I literally go by what the scriptures say. Anyway, um, how would that Sabbath day going by? Gregorian calendar goes back to Pope Gregory the Fourth, man, which was a pope of the Roman Catholic Church, the false prophet in the Book of Revelation. All right, and they changed it from the Julian calendar, which goes back to the Roman, the first leg of the Roman Empire, all right, from Julius Caesar, when there was 8 days in the week, so on and so forth, man, which they got it from, you know, Egypt, Kemet, Mitzrayim, Matazarayam, all right, and they got it from, your Sumeria, your Babylon, man, because that's where astrology comes from. You see, your prognosticators. But that's just, quick little history lesson. Like I said, we're gonna wrap it up. So this is the book of First Samuel, chapter 20, verse 24. Now, if you don't know the history, all right, David was basically beefing, so to speak, with King Saul. All right. But David was befriended of King Saul's son, Jonathan. All right. So you could read the whole chapter, but I'm going to get to the point for time's sake. So David, verse 24 in chapter 20 of First Samuel. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. So notice even David understood the religious festival or the law of Leviticus 23 when it comes to the new moon. You see what I'm saying? Because it is a Shabbat. All right. Verse 25. And the king sat upon his seat as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day, for he thought, something hath befallen him. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean. So notice, on this holy day, per se, right? It was a thing to be clean on that day. That's how you know it was set apart. You see what I'm saying? Than any other day. The new moon day wasn't just a regular day, it was the new moon. All right. This was how we started the cycle of counting the days of the week, as verse 27 is the point. And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. Now, before I go on, which there's a point right there. So we knew that the new moon was there, but David hid himself in the field. Saul's looking for him, like he was supposed to sit at the king's table. Where he at? He not there. Now the next day came, and the scriptures say that it was the second day of the month. So the new moon is day one. The day after the new moon is day two, right? And it didn't say Tuesday. It didn't say, Monday. It said the second day of the month. All right. So the moon starts the month that we prove through scriptures, right? And you would count from the new moon being day one unto day seven, which would really be day 8, right? Because the new moon is a Shabbat. Second day would be day one, because on the new moon you don't do no work. 7 days from the new moon, which would be day 8 in the cycle according to the scriptures. All right. Because when it says seventh day, it's 7 days counting from the new moon. And like I said, new moon is day number 1 according to First Samuel chapter 20, verse 27. So it doesn't matter what day in this Gregorian Babylonian calendar, the 7th day is calculated by the new moon. You see? So goes on, and Saul said to Jonathan his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? Because yesterday was what? The new moon in this situation, right? So if I type new moon Sabbath, that was supposed to be my last script, but the spirit was like, man, get this scripture real quick. This is book of Isaiah chapter 66, verse 23. So notice new moon and Sabbath occurs 15 times in 5 verses in the KJV, right? Book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another. So notice, the Most High, through the prophet Isaiah, prophesied that not only on the new moon, but also on the Sabbath, that what? Shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh. So this is notice in the kingdom, is a future prophecy shall come to pass. So that's how you knew it is one and the same. You see? Because the Sabbath is predicated upon the cycle of the month, which is started by the new moon. Con. All right. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 46, verse 1. Thus saith Yahweh, Elohim, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. You see, again, interchangeable. Amos 8 and 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit. See, because that's what our forefathers, the Israelite, done. They was so wicked in spirit that they was waiting until the appointed time that the Most High set up to be over, so that they can go make money, which the law says we're not even supposed to, usury or interest on our own people, but upon the heathen. But they so that they can falsify balances. In the book of Proverbs, it says a false balance, all right, is an abomination of Yahweh. So they was waiting. When the Sabbath gonna be over? And it's funny because even in that understanding, in growing up in the world in the Babylonian denomination of Seventh-day Adventists, as a little kid, you see what I'm saying? Your parents or whatever, if they the one that brought you, you'd be like, yo, when the Sabbath gonna end? You see what I'm saying? Talking about Saturday, so that you know your parents is not going to be hounding you, going out to some teen club or chilling, going hang with friends, or whatever it may be. You see what I'm saying? So that same spirit, that's how we was Jake, we Israel. You see what I'm saying? Because that wickedness not coming into the truth, you was just when is it done so I can go do this worldly stuff. All right, I even read this one right here, Colossians 2 and 16. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days. See, this is not regarding to, well, my Sabbath day is this or my new moon is this. No, you see what I'm saying? That is already set in concrete. The Most High has already appointed that, like we read in the book of Genesis. All right, but it's saying that let no man judge you for you keeping, the new moon and the Sabbath day, and from you eating the correct foods. You see what I'm saying? Drink, right, or respect and holy day of atonement, so on and so forth. All right. This is not giving you an allowance or an excuse, all right, to not acknowledge the true new moon and the true Sabbath. All right. And I'll go because I skipped the first one, 2 Kings 4:23. And he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And he said, it shall be well. All right. So again, the interchangeable with new moon and Sabbath. All right. So with that, I hope that the point was basically driven through. There's way more precepts that we could go into, way more Hebrew words. See what I'm saying? Or how Shalak, even Paul in the New Testament was keeping, holy days. And how do you think he calculated holy days? Through the new moon. He said he was a Pharisee of Pharisees. Uh, um, a son of Abraham, a son of Jacob, of Israel. You feel me? Of the tribe of Benjamin. You see what I'm saying? So he knew the law. He knew how to calculate. You see what I'm saying? The true Sabbath, the true, the new moon, so on and so forth. All right. So like I said, there could have been way more precepts I could have went into. All right. But the moon, Friday night to Saturday night, sundown, all right, is not the Sabbath, man. Okay, period, point blank. You feel me? And when we come into the truth, we have to grow in the spirit. This is meat, right? But meat isn't, uh, should I say, what was it, unskillful for babes, man. You see what I'm saying? Or milk is only given unto babes who is unskillful in the word of righteousness, man. All right. So we have to be able to grow, all right, in this thing and understand the truth and take our emotions out of it. All right. Also, not to be lazy, man. So it's still in captivity. We're rehearsing the righteous acts. All right. So through the grace of Yahweh Shai, all right, we understand, he sees and he knows, that we try to keep his laws to the best of our ability. Some brothers have to work, this and that, third, but doing what Amalek do, the same Friday to Saturday Sabbath, or because everybody in Babylon got weekends off, so you could, try to, by the law, when we're saved by, the elect, by grace. You see what I'm saying? The just shall live by his faith. You feel me? Trying to please him. Oh, well, I kept the Sabbath, fully, when we're supposed to keep the Sabbath, all right? But the true Sabbath, you see what I'm saying? Coming from the new moon. But anyway, before I start rambling on in the spirit, like I said, I'm gonna cut this short. Lord willing, it was edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Hakwadash. I want to give double honor to the apostle, elders, a great millstone who grew well. And I want to give peace and salutations always unto the hope for elect scattered abroad. Presented the bodies as a living sacrifice, man. When all odds, the world is against us, but we not of the world, man. We soon go home, man. All right, the prophecies is popping off. All right. And with that, I say Ababa Ball, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.